Welcome to the second episode of Modern Chess Masterpieces. We'll see a game that was played in 2018 in Korchona Memorial. White is Paravyan. The game started in a peaceful manner, a Petrov opening. Yeah, nothing to say at this point. We are following mainline theory until this point. So at this stage, there are four moves which are heavily played. C into d5, knight c3, rook e1 and queen c2. There are thousands of games played in each of these. However, white played a very rare move. As compared to thousands of games in these lines, queen b3 there are hardly 25 games. Black has multiple choice at this point. I believe knight a6 and bishop g4 are also very critical move. Black opted for d takes c4. It's actually surprising why queen b3 is not as popular as the other moves, because this also makes perfect sense. We are trying to bring pressure on these two pawns. Anyhow, d takes c4 happened and bishop into c4. White has an isolated pawn, but black is slightly underdeveloped. So white's advantage is more on dynamics, while black has a static advantage. So knight d7, this is probably not the ideal way to play d takes c4 and knight d7, because I believe after rook e1, white kind of creates some pressure. If black goes back, then there is knight e5 happening, putting further pressure on f7. Black played knight df6, which is logical, but this knight is not stable. It gets eliminated instantly. So black takes, and since black has the static advantage, black would be very happy to exchange queens, because white's initiative will evaporate at that point. And obviously from white side, we don't want to exchange queens. We want to keep it because we know our pieces are more active. The knight is going to come to e5, the pawn on f7 is weak. So white rightly decides to go and fight for the initiative by giving up one pawn. Now at this point, clearly getting the bishop to h4 and trying to get it to g6 would have been wiser, but black's idea was to take the pawn and he accepts the challenge. So black is a pawn up now, but white is getting more and more development advantage at this point. Queen a3, and a very interesting move right now. Actually, computer says the best move would have been bishop b3. That's computer's top choice. But white played a move which forces black to find the only move to stay in the game. Queen c2 was played, the first puzzle of the day. Pause this video, try to figure out a way to save black. There's only one move that saves black at this point. Everything else is losing. Alright, I hope you guys found it. To find the only move, we need to understand that rook b3 is a very serious threat when black has to play queen a4, and this queen, it feels like it is pinning the rook on b3, but actually after rook b3, queen a4, it's white's queen that is attacking the queen on a4, and if the rook moves with a check, as we will see later, the queen on a4 becomes vulnerable. So the only move to save the game was to play b5, and the point is after rook b3, queen a4, the queen is protected now. And okay, bishop b3, queen a6, white keeps compensation. Obviously after knight e5, black is still underdeveloped, but black is not losing. In the game, knight d5 happened, and at this point again I want you to pause for 10 minutes or 15 minutes and try to find out the forced win from here until the end. There are two ways to do it. White started with rook b3, which is absolutely correct. What we are going to see next will be an amazing combination that starts from here. White plays with utmost precision. Queen a4 is the only square, and as I said, one way to look is the rook is pinned. The other way to look at this position is if this rook could give a check somehow, then the queen on a4 becomes a target. Now there are two ways to do it, either to take here first and then play knight g5, or reverse the move order. In any case, the outcome is the same. We transpose one way or another. White took on d5, black has to take knight to g5, threatening mate. Either way, whether black plays g6, which happened in the game, or f5, we see the trick. The queen is vulnerable here. We take on h7, and after king h7, it comes with a check when black loses the queen. Black played the move g6, and after knight takes h7 to play bishop f5. Computer says it was at this point better to play queen c3, but after rook c3, queen d4, knight f8, it is just over anyway. But since this is only, let's say, around +2, and the move that was played in the game is more than that, computer thinks queen c4 was the best move. But from a human point of view, of course, bishop f5 is more critical. Queen is under attack and black is also trying to take on h7. Here queen d1 apparently also gives white huge advantage, but without a doubt what white played is not only the strongest move but also the brilliant way of winning. Knight f6 check. Black cannot go here because rook h3, and then again we pick up the queen. King to g7. You can pause once again 5 minutes and try to find out what is white's best move. White finds another spectacular move to get this rook out with a check. Bishop h6 check. What to do? If black takes, then we play rook h3 and we are picking up the queen. If black goes to h8, we take, and then once again we are threatening check. And note that bishop takes c2 runs into checkmate in a very interesting manner. So the only move that remained is king into f6. Now what? There is no more check. White comes up with another spectacular move, the strongest move in the position, g4, threatening g5 checkmate. And if bishop into g4 is taken, then queen to d2, and there is no stopping against queen g5. You are missing bishop e4 move, which could have delayed the process, and now this bishop e4 is not there, which means queen g5 is just mate in 3. If black takes on c2, then we give rook f3 check, and black can only delay it with rook f4, bishop f4, but eventually he will have to play bishop to f5 and g5 is checkmate. Black tries his best. He plays bishop f4, confusing white, saying that, hey, what are you going to do now? Do you want to take my bishop? If you do that, then after bishop h6, it's actually black who is winning. The king is safe. And otherwise, if you don't take it, I'm going to take your queen. Guess what white played here? It's again a fascinating move. White plays queen to c7. And what is to be done now? After bishop c7, g5 is actually checkmate. If, let's say, bishop takes g4, then queen f4 check, bishop e5, queen g5, or queen e5 is mate. And any other move, we are threatening to play g5, bishop takes g5, and queen e5 is mate. So in the game, bishop into h6 was played, queen e5 check, king comes to g5. Here probably rook g3 was a shorter route to mate, but yeah, white played h4, which is also winning. Now, in the game, king h4 was taken. If king takes g4, rook g3 check, king h5. We cannot really take here because after king g2, this is mate. So king h5, queen e2, king h4. Now, yeah, let's say king g2 and rook h1 is happening, and we are eventually winning. So in the game, king into h4 was played, and the brilliance still continues. Rook h3 check, king takes h3, queen g3 is mate. So king g5 was played, and queen e7. Black resigned here, which is pretty obvious. After king g4, queen h4 is mate. After f6, queen e3 check, and queen g3 is mate. I hope you enjoyed this fantastic game played by Paravyan, and it all started from a seemingly harmless position, I must say. It was not obvious at this point that black king is coming all the way to g4 or h4 and then getting mated. And all the moves that was played in the game were very imaginative and brilliant, and I find this game very instructive. Do not ignore development. Do not capture pawns, neglecting the development. As it was seen here, initiative, development, attack, these are very, very important, and we should not ignore that. Alright, thank you guys, and see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.